Hello, I'm Nishikeet and I live by myself and don't own a tripod. So here goes my presentation. I'll be talking about how to prevent privacy leaks in your code between classes. So, to completely understand what I'm about to tell you, you would need some basic understanding of object orientation programming. However, worry not. Even if you don't know object orientation programming, you should be able to follow what I'm about to try to make you understand. Okay, so what are privacy leaks? Privacy leaks are when you basically make some information accessible which isn't meant to be accessible. This happens when you reference some methods, some object from your parent class in your subclasses. So what's the problem with that? So y- this information could be sensitive or private, and that's the whole point of using private variables. However, if you don't take necessary precautions, this parent class, which is supposed to have that private variable, once referenced in these subclasses, could lead to them being able to be extractable. Um, and how do you fix that? Because you have to understand the whole point of object orientation programming is to basically do this, basically call the methods used here, and that's the whole point of object orientation programming. But if that leads to privacy leaks, um, well, we don't want it. So how do we solve these privacy leaks? To understand that, we have to understand that there's different types of copying. There's deep copying, there's shallow copying, there's just a reference copying, but we won't talk about that because we don't even need to deal with that. So the difference between shallow and deep copying. Okay. Deep copying is assume there's a variable A, right? Not a variable. I mean, an object would be better. Okay, let's assume there's an object A. All right. So that object A, if you were to shallow copy it, you would just reference that A. You just call it. You just basically be like, hey, A, there's an A, right? What deep copying does is you copy that A into a different variable, and now you have a different private variable. You don't just call it, you make a new one and you assign A to that. That's the difference between shallow and deep copying. And now, why is that important? Okay, so assume you have just called a private variable. Now, that private variable is accessible from those subclasses which which actually isn't meant to be accessible, hence causing that privacy leak. And now all the sensitive information could just be taken like that. Like you have basically allowed a person to steal information for free. I mean, you just need to debug the code and you have private information. What deep copying would do is it would turn that original private variable into a different private variable. Hence, that sensitive information could not be stolen and there are no privacy leaks. And this is why you should deep copy any of the private objects instead of shallow copying them. And I hope you understood this. Um, and thank you for watching.